It's the Sunraysia Football League report, the Ouyen United Kangas focus, and I'll tell you what, the coach is focused. He was focused on the weekend at South Mildura, and Scotty Grigg joins us. Hey, Scotty, how you going?
Yeah, good. Flowman, yourself?
Yeah, good, and a little bit of the flu and the lurgy, but that's been going around the place too and making availability for games a bit harder for you blokes in selection. But, gee, you'd say that after being up by a lot against South Mildura, they came back late, but you've had some kids that you've been testing too, so good to see a 13-11-89 to South 9-15-69. You're on the board, Scotty, and that's what we wanted to see.
Well, that's right. We are on the board. We needed that 4 points that just creates a bit more confidence and enthusiasm amongst the group. And you're right, we did what we had to do in the first half, and to be able to kick 11 goals in the first half was extremely pleasing. We didn't hit our targets in the second half, but there was reasons around that. There was a couple of blokes that were sore. We didn't put them back on the ground in the last quarter, and we exposed the 18 and unders to maximum ground time.
Good to see, and those kids will benefit from that. That is for sure. And and I look at the list of kids that you've got. The Joel Graces, a good kid, that one, and the young Blake Smith, another good kid, Ethan Munro. So some of those boys getting maximum time on the field is going to help their development. Sam Mead was good for you. Kick 3, Reed Stevens playing good footy too. A couple from him. The big man Andre Perella in the side. Brandy never plays a bad game. Let him know that I said it. And Braith Munn also played well for South on their side of the ledger. But here's the thing. I'll go through the other senior footy before we come back to the Ouyen United Kangas reserves and the junior grades. I think you tipped Mildura last week to beat Robinvale, and you got it right. I went the other way. Mildura are the real deal. You've been talking Sam Kerridge up. I think now that we've seen it, he's got a good side on the park now.
No, he has, but I think their challenge, like other clubs are facing similar challenges at the moment, will come if and when they get some injuries. And I think injuries and fitness is going to play a massive role in the outcome of the season, because there's not, I wouldn't say there's a club with a standout reserve side that has multiple players that can step up and play senior footy. So I think it's going to be, it's a matter of keeping your list healthy, and his list is healthy. And he's maximising some efforts out of some of his players.
Yeah, it's great stuff. A good call. I tipped Redcliffs to get on top of Merbeen. At Kenny Park, it was the Redcliffs, the Tigers over the Magpies, 14-7-91 to 8-11-59. And I reckon Redcliffs, we've underestimated them. They have arrived to play this year.
Yeah, well, so we've got to give them some credit, but I just think we need to make the call when everyone's played each other once and everyone's had a bye, and we can make an assessment of the ladder then and then attack the second half of the year.
It's good stuff from Irimple too. 18-715 to Imperial 7-5-47. Irimple back to some form on their Henshelwood Park Oval. All right, now we go down to the twos. Your reserve grade threw everything at South and got pretty close in a pretty good effort. 7-6-48 to 5-4-34. I was looking at the earlier quarter scores though, and your boys were right in every quarter after a slow start. So you can take something out of that with a lot of young kids still playing in your reserve grade age.
No, absolutely, mate. The boys are given maximum effort and attitude, definitely each and every Saturday. They're just probably lacking a little bit of seniority amongst the group, and just make some crucial errors at the wrong time of the game that results in scoring opportunities for the opposition. But as far as their development goes, about turning up with the right effort and attitude, they're definitely doing that.
Oh, it was great stuff. Jason Monahan, a couple. Jackson Plant there too. David Jeffries, good. Lockie Comrie, Toddy Barker, Jason Monahan. And young Billy Katnack having a good season, young Billy. Good stuff from him. He is a player of the future, that is for sure. And down into the kids now as we go to the 14-year-old age group. The score sheet that for this one has the Ouyen United Kangas scoring 1-2 to Mildura, 9 goals, 10. But your kids here, good development for them, and to Finn Brown, Harry Scott, Aidan, Adam Grace, all good kids coming through.
They are, mate, and South Mildura are well and truly on top of that. They're in the under-14s and undefeated, so the boys have done really well. We didn't focus on the scoreboard. James Morris had been focusing on a couple of team targets, and he was happy with what they were able to do on the day.
Really happy with it, and well played to young Christy Higgins. A good little effort from her. Darcy Plant and Kyle O'Brien also amongst it. Into the under-12 lads, and these little kids start the day, put on a great show for their parents, and there's always a lot of focus. 1 goal, 3 from them, South 4-7. But a good performance from your kids.
Yeah, those kids, once again, they just kept turning up, the under 10s and 12s. They get there at 5 o'clock on a Thursday night and run around and have a lot of fun for an hour, and then hang around and have a kick on the side of the ground where the seniors train. And that's what it's about. It's about making sure they enjoy the game. I know there's not a focus on scoring, but the kids probably still keep the score in their own head. They know who's in front and who's not. But there's a really good vibe around the under 10s and 12s at the club.
Yeah, certainly is. Nigel Hamilton, Hunter Brown, Oliver Brady, William Pole, Zachary Charles and Harry McVicker, all amongst it in that age group. And this weekend's matches, it's a very big weekend of football for the Ouyen United Kangas. They come up against a side that has been amongst it this year. But that doesn't matter because you've got to beat whoever you front up on the park. How do you go with Robinvale Euston, who come off a loss last week? You head to Robinvale.
Yeah, we've got the road trip over there. It's not always an easy one, but we've definitely started to build some momentum, not only just through that win last week, but even through the competitive efforts in the previous weeks. And we do have a really steely focus on some team-orientated outcomes. And I just think this game's going to come down to the wire. I think it'll be a hotly contested game. And I just think the team that shows the most discipline in a variety of areas on the day will come out the winner.
It's going to be a hard one. You've got to come up with the points here. Even if you lose, you've got a couple more before we end the first round. Dallas Wilsmore back into the middle of the ground. I see that Kane Stevens will join him in the centre bouncers. Jacob Grigg is in there with him too. Probably Blake Smith will come out of the forward pocket and change. Do you have that midfield strength to get the ball forward, and then can you kick enough goals?
Yeah, we had 7 goal kickers last week, which is another thing that we're really pleased with, so we don't rely on 1 or 2 to make sure we kick a winning score. And, look, we've got probably another 5 or 6 boys that will rotate through that midfield. It's one thing that we identified earlier in the year, that we were becoming a little too easy to play against, and due to my instructions, we'll probably be becoming a little bit too easy to coach against because we're just rolling out similar patterns and things that we were doing last year because they worked. So we've just added some variety in there through what we do and who goes through there, just to throw different formats at the opposition on a continuous basis. It's
going to be a beauty over at Robinvale. The twos, you travel with the two side. I mean, the blokes put their hand up when it's home, but sometimes you don't get the numbers when you go to Robinvale.
Yeah, no, he still had 22 on the list there last night, so they'll definitely have a team on the ground tomorrow.
Beautiful stuff to hear. And down into the 14s, the kids have got a big game against Robinvale Euston, a tough one for them.
Yeah, Robinvale are always a well-drilled underage football teams there. They've got a really good community group of, got the Tongans and the Italians and the Australians and the Indigenous mob. They all get in there and form the club, and they've always got plenty on the park. So they're very, very competitive in every age group.
Oh, they're going to be very competitive. Back to senior footy, the match of the round, one of the matches of the season, Wentworth and Irimple at George Gordon. Who are you picking here?
I'm going to go with Wentworth at their ground. Irimple just seem to be doing what they just need sometimes, and they're falling short. So I'm just looking from afar. I don't know anything from inside, but Dan Cogman stood up again last week. He probably needs a few of the boys to follow with him and support him, because, like I said earlier, that's what's going to be the people that come out on the winners in the second half of the season are the ones that are got a healthy list and playing well. Wentworth
come off the bye too, which I think is important. The rest from last week, they will be cherry ripe and win over Irimple at home. Imperials take on Merbeen. I'm not game to tip against Merbeen again twice in a row. I'm going for them to win away.
Yeah, I think they'll win too, mate.
And Redcliffe's take on Mildura. This is the moment of truth. Sam Kerridge's boys have been in great form and knocked over the leaders last week. And Quandong Park, Redcliffe's the giant killers at home. I'm going with Mildura.
I'm going to go with Redcliffe's there, mate. I just think, like you said, they are building some consistency and continuity in what they're trying to do, and they play their ground really well. So I think it'll be a real close one, but I'm going to go with Redcliffe.
It's a massive weekend for the Ouyen United Kangas, an away game over at Robinvale, and then, of course, heading back next week at home against Redcliffs, when I reckon it's going to be one of the matches of the season. Good to talk to the coach, Scotty Grigg. You have a great weekend, Scotty, and look forward to the results coming through.
Flowman, I'll speak to you next week.